Lions and guests, we'll get the meeting started. And we're going to start with an invocation by Steve Patterson.
Thank you, Lord, for allowing us to gather here today as Lions and friends. We pray your blessing on those that cannot be with us, and we pray a special blessing for the family of Bob Boxon, who passed away the other day. We ask for your blessing on the food that we eat today, that it will strengthen our bodies and our souls and our love for you and for each other. Amen. Amen.
And David Hammond is going to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Marilyn with our song.
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of thy pilgrims bright, from every mountainside, let freedom ring.
Well, thank you for being here today. I wonder if I'm going to, does it feel like it's going in and out? No. Okay. My hearing is going in and out.
What?
I know. Thank you for your assistance. We are going to start out back there in the back with guest introductions.
Carrie Ann, fellow Lions, we have two guests. One first, Greg first will announce, and the other one, Mary.
President Carrie Ann, fellow Lions and guests, it's my pleasure to introduce our zone chairman from Kelso Lions, Dan Heaton.
I'm a chairwoman, not a chairman.
Greg hasn't figured that out. Greg's still working on that. Greg's still working on that.
Mary, do you want to introduce your guest, or are you? I know. Do you want to?
President Carrie Ann, fellow Lions and guests. One is for Russ Case. He had back surgery, I guess, this past week, and was recovering. For Bob. Explain that,
You want to?
and pick us up.
President Carrie Ann, fellow Lions and guests, to add for sunshine, Dan Mueller, let me know that he had a slight setback in his recovery. So he expects to be back in July instead of June. He was really anxious to come back. So basically, he's got a wound that is really deep, and it's just taking a lot of extra care. And Jan, I know you're a good friend of Gail. Is there anything that you wanted to add? I think that's probably good.
Well, how about Happy Bucks?
President Carrie Ann, fellow Lions guests. First, we're going to end up with a sad button for the passing of Lion Bob. However, he is definitely in a better place. I've seen him a couple of times in the last 6 months. And, he was not who he used to be. And he didn't like it either. On the next side is Happy Buck. Over this weekend, I bought a new-to-me pickup truck. It's a big, red, beautiful 2001 GMC four-wheel drive. Looks like a grandpa truck. It's wonderful, and it gets lousy mileage, and it's got a big-ass engine in it, and it goes really fast. Stops really good. Yeah. So I'm super happy. Third one is Sad Buck. Lion Hal gives his regrets for not being able to be here today. But in the little house that sits next to his house, that little former Lion Dylan and I lived in 1992, the floor in the bathroom was right in front enough so that people would die if they fell. So he's in the middle of calling around to people to help him get that fixed. So if you are any carpentry inclined and would like to help, Al, you can do it because I've rebuilt all of his bathrooms and all of his houses, and I told him I'm out, man. I'm not doing it. I love you to death, but it ain't gonna happen. Let's see. Fourth Happy Buck. My wonderful Gary is in Indianapolis with a crew of 15 people. And they are making 600 box lunches a day for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday for the National Firefighter Conference in Indianapolis. Can you imagine 2,600 sandwiches every day for 3 days? No. I literally would cut my hands off and say, no, I can't do it anymore. No. Let's see. The last one is a Happy Buck, and it was really, the copies today, wonderful employee Michelle is healing from her burst appendix, and hopefully she'll be able to join us again next week. We're praying for her to feel better. Oh, and then the steel one, I just wanted to say, hey Robin, it's nice to see ya. Congratulations.
I just want to say I'm so happy to see everybody. Oh, President, Ariane, yes, clearly it's been a minute since I've been here because I forgot. Hey, you. I'm so happy to see you all. So I'm a little rusty, clearly, so hoping to be back a little more often now. So I know I say that and I'm gone, but I'm trying to guys. I'm here. So,
Yeah, we heard that before.
Sure.
Mr. Governor Steve.
Thank you. President Carrie Ann Lyons, I guess I have we're almost at conference time. Marilyn's driving me nuts.
Oh, wow.
Immersed deeply in context and awards, and I just pretty much leave her alone at home. I don't know what to do.
Have you ever wondered why?
And the second happy dollar is we're immersed in chasing grandchildren now in baseball and track. It's a lot of fun. Go see our kids. Thank you.
What about foster daughter? Yeah. No more about her, huh?
Anybody that still believes that was a April Fool's joke?
April. Does she massage your feet? Moving right on.
As always, yes. I have a $50. I got my first cataract surgery done out of the way on my right eye on Thursday. Still kind of fuzzy, scratchy feeling. But I get my left eye done tomorrow, so hopefully that won't last. now motivated to come up and get it. So I'm happy for that. We'll get a see her for the first time in, about 9 months. And just happy to be here. Thank you. Done. Right, done. Past president, sorry. He's actually right, thank you. Past president, Lion John.
President Carrie Ann, fellow Lions and guests, this is a very happy dollar. I went up against some formidable foes last Saturday night in a nickel dime quarter poker game, and came out on top. I have a Joe trophy in my house.
Oh, no. Hey, Bob. Hey, Bob. Hey, Bob. Hey, Bob. All right, line up.
President Carrie Ann, fellow Lions and guests. Just throwing a happy dollar because we had our first comic con last Friday. Had a great turnout and help. Keep that coming. Sales were real good, so I just want to thank everybody that helped me. And, were you there? I was there. Oh, okay. Thank you all.
Thank you, Bob. President Carrie Ann, fellow Lions and guests. Bucks wasn't happy much for last week. Beautiful weather. Social platform and attended, went to the Columbia Theater rededication. Sat out in the sunlight, listened to 10 or 12 people give little tiny speeches. And it was my wife's birthday that day, so she agreed to go along with me, but I had a picture to take care of it afterwards. Make up for it. And then the other buck is a sad buck. We'll be gone 6 weeks.
Sorry.
I mean, the State Department, educational children, I've been told that both employees will be there to meet us.
Oh, hello.
President Carrie Ann and fellow Lions and guests, I got 2 happy bucks. The donation that you guys made, or we made, to the broomstick, they made $4,000 go to St. Jude. And the other one is my grandson just turned 1.
Oh, I answered anything. President. Telling me to mellow out, sit down, quit doing things. Anyway,
Yeah, right.
August is passing. Great guy. The other one, Saturday, they attended the service for Gary Headquarters. And saw a number of Lions there. There was, all the way around the room. That didn't bar. It was a good thing.
First happy dollar is sad to hear about Bob Augustin passing.
other one is for Russ Case. Russ hasn't been in the club very much because of this back problem I think he had, so he finally got in. It's been quite a battle for him to get to the surgery. So anyway, I don't know how he did it now, but he did have it. The other one is a rebuttal $1 to Claypool. Since he beat me by $1, anytime I can come in second in that group, I figure that's a win.
Technical title? Good enough. Larry.
Yeah, for 56 years plus.
There you go.
And the other one's just a happy dollar for being here today.
Third seat.
Susan Carrie Ann Caroline. Yes, I have a couple of happy bucks for Gail Weaver. I got a police with help the other day, and help solve an issue with their lawnmower. The battery had broken terminal, and 20 generously replaces the battery they brought with them. My heartfelt gratitude extends to one word. I look forward to returning to Lions meetings, participating in the local community service project, reciprocating to selfless faith. Best wishes to all. Gail Weaver.
Thank you. No? Okay. President Carrie Ann, it's all yours.
Okay. Well, I am going to pass this microphone on over to Gail, which is our speaker chair. And she's going to introduce our speaker.
We have Joel Davis, who's going to talk to us about restoration.
Hi, Joel. Well, we did have a video going here, but I think we'll probably just have to skip that. So anyway, first of all, thank you for having me here, and a few faces I know, a lot I don't. I'm too short. So,
Now I can see you.
so as some of you may know, I'm Mary Simonson's husband, and it's been a wonderful journey for her and I to be married. We met at the YMCA. She quit working out. I kept going, as you can tell. No, she doesn't all the time. But I was asked to explain a little bit about one of the businesses we own. We own a couple businesses here in town, and I want to get into that. But tell you a little bit about myself. Born and raised here, graduated Kelso High in '79. Grew up in South Kelso, in the projects. Don't hold that against me. In fact, Leroy and I grew up together, went to the same schools together, and all that fun stuff. And I was the kid in the neighborhood that parents wouldn't let their kids hang out with. And but anyway, through the years, I've been involved in business my whole life, one aspect or another. I've been a real estate investor for, I think, I'm pretty close to 30 years now. Bought and sold over 300 properties here in the local area, Lewis County, Clark County.
We're technically charged.
These are the best times. There we go. So anyway, primarily involved in real estate, buying and selling contracts, real estate, commercial, residential, all of that. Done a ton of business with Leroy over the years, over Cascade. Still doing it today. In fact, we just picked up another home yesterday. Mary finally got to look at it after I bought it. I forgot to tell her. No, she trusts me. But anyway, so here back in 2019, I saw a product on the internet. It was called Roof Maxx, and I was like, that's kind of weird. I don't know what that is, because being in remodeling of homes, you're always looking for a new, better thing out there that might save you money, might be better for the consumer. And I took a look at this stuff they sprayed on roofs, and I'm like, that can't be right. And so I started doing some research on it, and I'm one of those kind of people that you can tell me anything you want, but you got to prove it to me. So after about 6 months of research and calling different dealers around the United States and talking with various people and seeing the product in action and seeing what it really did, I jumped in as a dealer. I'd been looking for about 5 years to diversify outside of the real estate market, just because, you know, the ups and downs and things like that, and just generally have another income stream for the family. And so walked in, sat down one day, and I said, Mary, I think I found what we're going to do. And she said, well, what's that? And I said, it's Roof Maxx. She goes, what's that? And I explained it to her, and she said, okay, if you want to, then you know more about this stuff than I do. So we moved forward. I have impeccable timing. I signed a contract with Roof Maxx the last week of 2019. 2 weeks later, they announced this thing called COVID in Seattle. And our big investment in the van and all the equipment and stuff like that sat in the driveway for 6 months because we were considered non-essential. And it took 6 months to convince the governor, if you will, that we were actually an essential product that people needed, and they let us go to work. And so it's been a heck of a journey. But Roof Maxx, just kind of in its simplistic way, is that roofs don't really wear out. They dry out and then they break down. What happens is, with the resin oils and asphalt shingles, because it's a petroleum-based product, eventually what happens with your roof and everybody else's, if you got an asphalt shingle roof, is the natural petroleum oils in the shingles evaporate because of the UV rays of the sun. When that occurs, then there's multiple things that happen to cause roofs to start to break down. Number one is that people will start noticing the granules on the roof, which is crushed limestone, start to slough off the roof, and they'll end up in the gutters, sometimes the downspouts, various things like that. And the granules on your roof are super important. The main reason is it's really think of it like a sunblock for your roof. It keeps the sun off. And if you think about it, a petroleum-based product comes from under the ground. It just doesn't like the sun. Once those granules start coming off, you get more sun, so you lose more granules. You get more sun, you lose more granules, and it just kind of becomes a big snowball thing. What happens at that point, then we start seeing other things happen with roofs, is they will tend to start curling up, they'll start cracking, we call it hydroshocking. Just in general, they're on their way out. And so there was a couple brothers back in Columbus, Ohio, Mike and Todd Fiesel, that kind of came up with this idea, and they'd been in roofing their whole lives. And kind of a funny story, Mike's the CEO of the company. I was talking to him one day, and I said, Mike, how'd you ever get in roofing? And he said, well, I graduated from high school. My dad told me I had to have a job in a week or I had to move out. So the only job I could get was roofing. But from that point, they built one of the 10 largest roofing companies in the United States, and they started seeing a significant shift in the quality of asphalt shingles for roofs that we can buy today. Mainly back in the 90s and 2000s, they really seen the quality of shingles going downhill. One of the things they recognize that shingles have about a third less material today than they did 20 years ago. And that seems to be the trend they're getting on thinner shingles, less material, makes it dry out quicker, breaks down quicker, things like that. So they had a company called Fiesel Roofing, one of the 10 largest roofing companies in the United States. They started doing some digging around, and they got together with a company called Battelle Labs. And if you've never heard of Battelle Labs, they're the largest private research development laboratory company in the entire world. They run Los Alamos for the government, things like that. They're a big outfit. And they got with them, and they explained to them that they wanted to try to find a way to save asphalt shingle roofs. So they started digging into it, and the scientists, they come up and they said, well, we think what happens is roofs don't really wear out. We think they dry out and then they break down. We think that's what's really going on here. And then they said, we think there might be some properties inside soybean oil that might add to what you're trying to do and actually make the roofs last longer. We think there might be some properties in it that might actually rehydrate the asphalt shingle roof and make it last longer. So they said, but that's kind of out of our area of expertise. So they sent them over to Ohio State University. Ohio State University is the #1 soybean testing facility in the world. It's called Arable Labs. So Barry McGraw got involved. At that time, Barry McGraw was one of the people involved with the Ohio State Soybean Commission. And they kind of looking at it and they're listening to the story and they thought, well, that's kind of intriguing. So they dug into it and they developed a formula that actually will rehydrate an asphalt shingle roof, extending the life of it and keep asphalt out of the landfills. It makes the roofs last longer, saves you money. It's just a great way to go. It's way less invasive than a roof. You know, eventually everybody's going to need a roof someday. Even our product won't stay over a roof forever. But at some point, when that time comes, you can save a lot of money along the way. So they got involved. They took the company national about 8 years ago, and that was, I think, 2018 would be 2017. We got involved in 2019, and it has just been an incredible journey being with the company and seeing things grow and things that we're doing now. We're now around 450 dealers nationwide, growing every day. One of the big things we just announced, which is going to be kind of neat, is some of you might know who Mike Rowe is with Dirtiest Jobs. He's agreed to be our national spokesman, and that's a big thing because Mike Rowe, his name is everything. He doesn't get on board with anything. He doesn't absolutely believe in himself. He took a look at what we were doing. They danced with his team for almost a year before they ever got to Mike and talked to him physically. And Mike looked at everything and he was really impressed. And the thing he was most impressed about right now, we have over 16,000 reviews nationwide at a 4.9 out of 5 possible with customer service reviews. Not that we're perfect. We've had a couple bumps along the way, but in the home improvement industry, you just don't see companies with 16,000 reviews at a 4.9. Mary and I's personal dealership, we're at 4.8. I met a gal who I don't think Jesus could make her happy. And so you know, it's just, you find those people out there, they're out there. So anyway, you know, they've moved along forward. We now do business with some of the biggest companies in the United States. One of them is called PMI. PMI is the largest private franchise property management group in the country. We have a national contract with them. Some of you may have heard of Pulte Homes. They're the second largest home builder in the United States next to D.R. Horton. We have a national contract with them. It's kind of interesting because you think, well, why would a home builder be involved with Roof Maxx? The reason why is that they have huge developments back east. Some of them are 2,700 to 3,000 homes per development, and they want to save money too. Here personally, we did the Longview YMCA here, I think it was 2 years or 3 years ago in May. My wife's saying 3 in the back, so she's right. So we did it, but what was really cool about when we did Longview YMCA is I called Mike Fiesel, the CEO, and I said, hey Mike, I said, I'm on the board of directors at Longview Y, and you know, the roof really needs some help, and I'd really like to get this done. Is there anything you guys can do? And he says, yeah. He says, there is something we can do. We're going to send you all the product to do it for free. He says, so you provide the labor, we'll provide the product, and they can get their roof treated for free. And that was a big job. It was 38,000 square feet. I had to bring in a couple of dealers from other areas. They flew in a team to do a 3-minute mini documentary, 3.5-minute mini documentary on the Longview YMCA and Roof Maxx. And it's kind of funny. Every time I see an ad and it shows 2 guys in the lift spraying the roof, those are Mary and I's 2 sons. And it's just funny. Every time I see that, I just think, wow, they're taking that thing a long ways. But we've done that, done the U.S. Coast Guard building up in Aberdeen, Washington. They call it their auxiliary building. I think it's where they keep their small boats in the wintertime and different equipment and things. But I'll get a little bit more into Roof Maxx, but we've done a lot of other things too. You know, you guys being a service organization, I think everybody has to have a social piece to what they do. And one of the things we're most proud of at Roof Maxx is we have partnered with the Dave Thomas Foundation. Maybe some of you know who they are. They're the largest adoption agency in the United States. They specialize in at-risk kids over the age of 12, either physically or mentally disabled. And that's who they target to get into their forever home before they turn 18 and get aged out of the system. Because at 18, they just kick them out. And so we've pledged to support 25,000 kids between now and the year 2030. And we're well on our way. We were actually the second largest corporate donor to the Dave Thomas Foundation last year. We donated almost $300,000. This year, I think we'll probably be closer to $1 million with them. And every job we do, Dave Thomas Foundation gets a little piece of it. Some of you, does anybody remember the movie that was going around here a couple years ago, The Sound of Freedom, about the kids, the guy that was taking the kids out of the sex trade? We also donate to them. We also support the Underground Railroad. So Mike and Todd, really great guys. They felt like we should really give something back, and that's why they They really pushed getting us in with the Dave Thomas Foundation and the Underground Railroad and things like that. And we're looking at some other things right now. I can't really say till it's finalized, but we're always looking at adding new pieces to it. So anyway, so back to Roof Maxx a little bit. Roof Maxx is a really good stopgap product for someone who has an asphalt shingle roof that would like to extend the life of it. Maybe you're maintenance minded. Maybe you want to hang on for another 5 or 10 years to save up the money for a roof. Because I don't know, has anybody in here priced a roof lately? If you haven't done it since April 1st, it went up 11%. The materials did. You know, literally an $8,000 or $10,000 roof 8 or 10 years ago now costs you $18,000 to $20,000 for a low-end shingle. And you know, asphalt shingles are like cars. You know, you got good, better, best quality. And most of the time people, they put the low-end shingle on because frankly that's what's in their budget. And the nice thing about with what we do, we are actually about 80% less than the cost of a brand new roof. And it's a heck of a savings. And you know, one of the things that's interesting, you know, we paint our homes, we stain our decks, we bark our flower beds, we clean our concrete. How many of you people ever take care of your roof? Oh, 2, 3, 4. That's more than most. Usually it's like grand total of 0. And but you know, I think it's one of those out of sight, out of mind things until we get a leak and maybe we get some moss. Has anybody ever got a call from the insurance agent or the insurance company got a cancellation letter yet? Oh, there's a hand right there. Yeah, we're going to go into that in just a second on purchases. Yeah, one of the things we're seeing right now nationwide, we're seeing a ton of people get cancellation letters from insurance companies because of the condition of the roof. And it could be something as simple as algae. It could be something as simple as moss. And what they've done is there's a company that's developed a really interesting little program. It's a high altitude drone flyover program with an AI component. They could fly over all of West Longview in about an hour. It sends a numerical value to your insurance company. It don't matter which one you're with because they've got them all on record. And if you hit a certain numerical value, they're just going to punch out a cancellation letter, and then you've got to go fight them. And we've gone up against that about 8 times in the last year and a half, and we beat them every time. Because I'm telling you, some of these pictures, they're supposedly looking at these roofs. I can't tell what they're looking at. The images are so bad. The only thing I can say is maybe there's a little bit of staining from algae and things that we have around here. So the other part of it is that people that buy homes, one of the things that's happening right now, you go out and you get a mortgage, and you buy your home and you're all yippee skippy and you got your binder and you move in and you get your new refrigerator put in place, and all of a sudden the insurance company sends a contractor by and he looks at the roof, maybe he puts a drone in the air, maybe he doesn't, maybe he climbs up there, maybe he doesn't, most likely he doesn't. And then they come back and say, no, we're not going to cover your roof. It's too old. Typically now here in the city, yes?
Covered by this, will you have an inspection when you buying the house or selling the house? Because they'll get inspected to make sure everything's up to par.
No, because home inspectors have a really neat little thing that they do that they put in there, and I look at a ton of inspection reports for realtors, and they have in there, it says, we recommend you seek professional advice as to the condition of your roof. That's code word for call a roofer. Now, how does a roofer make money? They tear your roof off and replace it. That's the only way they make money. And so one of the things is that every time that happens, well, let me be fair. 90% of the time when I see that situation, that roofing company's recommending a replacement, whether it needs it or not. I've seen them recommend 8-year-old roofs that were just literally pristine. And, oh no, they need a roof because there's a little piece of fiberglass over here on top of this one shingle. Nothing wrong with it at all. So that really, you know, I mean, if that clause wasn't in there, you'd have the ability to go back on the home inspector. But the 2 biggest ways that home inspectors get sued typically is with the roofs and with dry rot. And so we are endorsed by the American Society of Home Inspectors, which is the largest association of home inspectors in the United States. And they've set out the 18,000 re-roofs that are being done every day here in the United States that our product would literally save 90% of those roofs. 90%. You know, it's just a product that the time has come, and I really wish it had been one of those things I'd thought of. I wouldn't be up here today. Not that I don't want to see you guys, but, you know, I'd probably be somewhere warm and sandy. And Mary and I sitting there sipping on something with an umbrella in it. But she's not here. So, But there's a lot of things going on in the roofing industry right now. The roofing industry is in a lot of trouble. From insurances issues, here in Washington State, the insurance companies are trying to do what they call ACV 15 years, ACV 20 years, where if your roof's 15 years old or older, they're calling for a replacement. Now, the great thing is that we have a way around that. We come in, we do everything that we do to a roof that we're supposed to do. We write a roof certification, you submit that to your insurance company, and they don't really have a way around it. Now, they could turn it down because it is a professional letter of opinion, but so far today, we've never had one declined. And down in Florida, it's really bad because down there, the legislature, seeing their infinite wisdom, to allow insurance companies to force you to replace your roof at 15 years, regardless of the condition. And it's literally putting people on the streets because 80% of the people in Florida, for example, are retired on a fixed income. If they can't afford, $400 or $500 a month payment for a new roof, they certainly can't afford $600 or $800 for forced insurance, which the mortgage company will put on the home. And it's just backing them into a corner, and people are losing their homes over in Florida. We're right now working with the legislature in Florida. We think we're going to get it through this time, where they're going to accept Roof Maxx as a viable alternative to roof replacements. Right now, we're using state-certified roof inspectors to come in behind us and do certifications on the roof. The laws are a little bit different than here, but they do certifications on them, and then the insurance companies have to accept them. They don't like it, but they have to. Because if you think about it, the lowest exposure for an insurance company is a new roof, because if something happens, they can go back and sue the contractor. That's really what it's about. So when we come out and we do a roof, we really do three different things. One of the first things is we want to make sure that your roof qualifies for what we do, because not every roof qualifies for Roof Maxx. Sometimes you just need a new roof. That's just that plain and simple. If we do come out, we accept the job, then what we want to do is first thing we do is we call it a tune-up. It's a maintenance package. We go over every inch of the roof. We look for nail pops. That's nails that work up through the shingles. We look for those pipes that stick out of your roof. The boots get bad. About 10 years, they're all rotten. We re-gasket those. Take care of the moss if we can, and if it's a situation that warrants it. And then we treat it with our primary product. And our primary product has a 5-year warranty. So the way it works is that we warranty that if that roof dries out anytime within the first 5 years, we'll come back out and retreat it on a prorated basis, just like a car battery or something. Then in 5 years, we recommend we come back out and reassess it. If it needs a treatment, we can retreat it at that time, or we might say, hey, we'll see you in 2 or 3 years. You may not necessarily need a treatment in 5 years. It depends a little bit on Mother Nature. If we've got some cloudy, cool summers, it's going to last longer. Because again, remember, it's the UV rays of the sun that raise the problems with your roof. And so most roofs, we can keep them going for an additional 15 years. And right now, there's kind of a big misunderstanding about roofs. Everybody thinks they got a 30-year roof. Has anybody ever read their roof warranty? You did? First one. Congratulations. Yeah. Well, then you know that the roof warranty only warrants against manufacturing defect. So in other words, if it's on Friday and the guys didn't get the press hot enough to roll the rock on, and it starts delaminating quicker than it should, they will only cover new material. They will not cover the removal, the reinstall, the dump fees, none of that. And here's the part that they really get people. It's on a prorated basis. So if you quote unquote got a 30-year warranted roof and you've had it for 15 years, you're going to get a check for like $165 or something. And that's the way it works. So there's a lot of things going on out there, and this is one of the big reasons that Mike Rowe agreed to endorse Roof Maxx as a company, because of all the things going on in the roofing industry that people don't even realize is going on around them. And it's unfortunately, it's a situation that's not getting better, it's only getting worse. And I don't think it's going to be a situation that's going to resolve itself, because I really believe the problem that we solve, roofing manufacturers could solve in about a week with their chemists and engineers. I just don't believe they want to. I don't believe they want to. They sell half as much product. So, you take a 30-year warranted roof. How long do you guys think the average 30-year roof, quote unquote, lasts in the state of Washington, Western Washington? 12 to 15. 12 to 15, depending on the product, yeah. And you know what the difference is between a 40-year roof and a 20-year roof? $10,000 and the color of the package. There isn't. we've lined them up side by side, and we can't tell the difference in most of them. And, you know, they're supposedly a better product. One of the other things, too, this is another thing that's very interesting, is the asphalt we're getting nowadays is not as good a quality asphalt as we used to get. They put these things called cokers on the refineries, and so when you heat oil up to 340 degrees, what happens is the top layer is gasoline, you know, it breaks on down to diesel, and at the very bottom, all that sludge is called bismuth. And bismuth is what they make asphalt out of. But when they put the cokers on there, they were able to refine more of the solids out of the oil, turning it into gasoline, which is, of course, more profitable. So the asphalt we have today does not have all the particulate matter that asphalt did 20 years ago before they put the cokers on the plant. So you take that and you compound it by the fact that the very best asphalt we have is right out here on the street in your driveway. The second best asphalt is on your roof. A lot of things to consider there. But there's just a lot of things going on out there, and what we do is we go out, we do a free estimate, tell you if we can do the job. If we can, we give you a price, and you guys decide from there. One thing about Roof Maxx is we are absolutely positively not a high pressure organization. I cannot tell you how many times I've gone into a home and people are just smoking hot about the last 3 roofing salesmen that were there, and they had to throw them out because they wouldn't leave till they bought. We absolutely don't do that. They would literally tender my dealer contract if I did that. I got a 3-star review one time. First time I ever talked to Todd Fiesel, I got a 3-star review. That's what knocked me down to a 4.8. And that was an interesting phone call. It took me about 20 minutes of talking with him before he agreed that what I was saying was true. I was a new dealer. He just wanted to make sure that we were doing everything on the up and up. And they're very big on that. Their integrity is something that they don't take lightly. But I want to go back a little bit, because you guys are a service organization, and we have a referral program. I think it might benefit you, and I even told Mary about this, because I kind of thinking about this morning and on the way over here. We normally pay $200 referral fee for every person that you refer to us if you're a customer. And then we take $200 off their bid. Since you guys are always trying to raise money, here's what I'm willing to do. For every job you guys refer to Roof Maxx, I will pay the Lions $400 for every job, regardless of the size. And that could put some money back in your guys' coffers, and you can go do the wonderful work that you guys do. So keep that in mind. I'm more than happy to do that. And if you have, for example, if you're in a service business where you have a list of names, we can put them into a CRM system, customer resource management system, send them out emails. We can take care of all that for you too if you'd like. So possibly that could benefit you guys as well. So anyway, I want to go ahead and open this up to questions and answers. Go ahead.
We got this working again. Hello, Kiki.
I have a couple questions, and I'm gonna try and remember what they were. One, what is your ideal roof? Is it somebody who just got their roof redone, or is it somebody who?
If you've got a brand new roof, you don't need us. Here in this part of the Northwest, you want your roof to be about 5 to 7 years old. Is what we find. We say nationally 10 years, but here in the Northwest and Florida are probably the 2 worst environments for roofs. We get pounded with rain. Florida gets pounded with rain. Lots of sun in Florida. We get sun here, so yeah.
Second question. Oh, what is the average cost for them?
We charge on a per square foot price basis, depending on where you're located, depending on the type of repairs that need to be done, moss removal, things like that. But typically we range from about $1.75 to $2.25 a foot. That's less expensive than a mid-grade roof for just materials.
Third is maybe more of just a comment than a question. But I might want to talk to you after. I'm a mortgage lender, and so I obviously deal with purchases and refinance your fund when the roof gets called out. So maybe we can chat after.
Well, it's funny you say that, because up till 2006, when I resigned from Home Capital Funding, I was the executive vice president of Home Capital Funding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know a little bit about that business too.
For 10 years now, so
Yeah.
and I'm local. So yeah, I will pick your brain a
Okay.
little bit after.
You get one of those. Ryan, Max, do you have questions, sir? No.
We got one back in the corner by the camera,
Can you apply it in the rain?
Hang on, I got, this question. How many days? The only requirements we have is it has to be over 36 degrees, and it cannot rain for an hour after we treat the roof. After an hour, our product will literally soak into the roof, and it can pour down rain, we don't care. Go ahead, what was your question, sir?
Wayne's question was,
Can you apply it in the rain, or do you need to wait until summer?
No, it just cannot rain for an hour after we treat the roof. And I'm gonna air it inside of an hour.
I apply a zinc product with phosphor on the roof. Does that affect the product?
No, we use it too. We use zinc sulfate. In fact, I've got about half the dealers across the United States using zinc sulfate to treat moss and algae right now. I have to be careful what I say here because I'm under an NDA, but I'm on our development team for the company nationwide. There's 16 dealers that are on the development team. And we're looking at developing the product out even further to where it'll have a UV inhibitor in it, as well as a product that will take care of the moss and algae. Here in the Northwest, we use zinc sulfate, and it does a wonderful job if you do it correctly. And it does not affect the product at all.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Joel. I was having a hard time getting out of my chair, but I do want to present this Longview Pioneer Lions Club. And then I'm going to go ahead and pass this microphone. Do we have the other microphone out there? Or? Okay.
Found batteries, we're so happy.
Yay.
Your mic back.
Can we get that over to Jan over here by Greg? And Jan has something to tell our club.
Don't tear rubber.
Yes.
I have a bunch of award pins to give, and it starts with a 10-year, and the little pins that you get when you're inducted into Lions, this goes on under that and hangs below the actual pin. And if you're like me, you lost yours. So I don't have a 15 or 20 year that I can hang mine on. But these first few are 10-year, and is William Cakewine here?
No, not Bill Thunder.
Oh, we're good. John Palmer, Senior.
No, he's not here.
Oh, good Lord, where are your people? Francisco Chavez.
He's not here.
We're doing it?
Okay, we're moving to 15, Marnie Botero. And another 15 for Ronald Horn. Good Lord, guys. I guess that's why you have 150 members, because they don't all come.
Right.
Priscilla Annette Richards.
Nope.
At least you guys know who these people are. Just say John Comer. Okay. Junior, okay. Now moving to 20 years. Rex Boswell. Jay Christensen. Kenneth Botero. Okay, Harold Malone.
Yeah, he's here. Can you still stand there, Harold?
Eric Guder Not here. All right, moving to 25 year. Kurt, Sasha?
Yeah,
Well, I don't see Saha out of that.
yeah, we don't either, but
Okay.
we haven't seen him much either.
Okay, 25 year. George Rader? At least he has a name I can say. 25 years, Cindy Session. That name I can say also. Oh, and this next one is a 30 year.
Whoa. Old person.
Steve Patterson.
He's old.
That one I can say also.
Yeah.
40. You guys and your short jokes. 40 year, Terry Woodruff. Ray Prestegard. Prestegard, not here. 45, and what I like about these, a 40 year will have 4 little heading marks or bars below it. After that, it's too much, so they'll put one big hash bar with the year on it. So 45, Rick Johnson.
Oh, man.
45, that's how old I am.
Man, he is really.
Okay, stop laughing.
How old are you?
Good say. 50 years, Larry Hansen. See, you can tell the old timers here because they make Lions important when they get here. Last one, 55 years, Donald Donaldson.
Not here.
Not here. Okay. You may keep those, my dear, and hand them out. And I want to say, glad you guys are Kelso grads. I am also. I'm just a couple years older than you, though. Actually,
No.
A lot older.
And the other thing I want to say about Mike Rowe, Dirty Jobs, that man is an opera singer. And if you've ever heard him sing, you would never believe it. So just a little tidbit there. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. Let me see. Here's a reminder for the evening meeting. It's the third Thursday of each month at Ashtown. The next meeting will be April 17th, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Did she cancel that or not? No. Okay. Greg, do you want to talk about site and hearing?
President Carrie Ann Lions guest, tomorrow evening is our site and hearing foundation meeting. I think we're going to have about 5 or 6 of our clubs over there tomorrow night. Everybody is more than welcome to come see what we do. It's quite rewarding. You can't believe what people live on in supplying them with a pair of glasses or a set of hearing aids. It's good. We love it.
Bob Piper?
Hey, Bob. Hey, Bob.
President Terry, Lions guests, just a reminder, Comic-Con this Friday, next Friday, 2 weeks from Friday is the fish-in, so we need some help with that. Anyway, that's all we're going on.
Thank you, Bob.
What time? What time at the shop?
The what, fish-in or the Comic-Con? Comic-Con. We're there at 8 o'clock in the morning to start setting up. What that is on the 25th.
What we
Oh, what do? We give away hot dogs to all the kids who go fishing. So, yeah, so, and usually we'll sell most of $1,000 for the hamburgers. that day too, but we give away like 500 hot dollars. Well, no, it's not that, and I have my health inspection coming next Tuesday. Oh, that's right. We'll be ready for that. Thank you.
Okay, Cindy Sessions.
Don't rip off the door.
Yeah.
President Carrie Ann Lions guests, once again, I have a save the date for our installation dinner. It'll be June 20th, which is a Friday night at the Kelso Elk, and we'll have more details later.
You know, it is the council.
It is the Kelso Longview Elk. And then Ann, do you want, I'll give that my,
President Carrie Ann, fellow Lions and guests, we have a sign-up sheet in the back. Please don't forget, if you're interested, on Saturday, it's coming up at 10 o'clock. I might have said another time last week, but I do mean 10 o'clock on Saturday. That's going to be the wetlands cleanup. It's on Memorial Park Drive, and the closest cross street is Shelley Place. John, are you coming? Okay. So we're gonna have a tent, we're gonna have donuts, we're gonna have water, we're gonna have a banner out there, chairs, so you can sign up to be a greeter, or you can sign up to work, and we're also gonna have additional volunteers from Faithful Servants Ministry. So I'm hoping to get them to do all the hard work, so we can have fun this time. All right.
you. Lastly, yes.
One more.
Sure.
Carrie Ann Lions guest, tomorrow or next Sunday evening, Lynn wants to make a visitation down to Kalama. Is there anybody else who would like to go on a visitation? What's the date? It's the 14th, Monday the 14th. Okay, there's going to be 3. Where's it at? The reason I need to know roughly how many, I give them a call so they'll have extra food. So about six or 7 minutes. Okay, thank you.
We have a board meeting April 10th, which is just right around the corner. It's always the third Thursday of each month at 8 a.m. and we're going to meet over at Life Mortgage for that. Thursday, I think that's what I said. Did I say? Oh, well, it's the second Thursday. And with that, get your red tickets out and your blue tickets.